Hi guys, so I do want to share with you guys a little bit more of my story. Right now we're at, I know it says Saturday, January 18, 9:18 a.m. Right now the time is 10:14 a.m. And I just want to let you guys know that I'm not 100% better, but I am getting a lot better than I was. And I want you guys to definitely be patient with me and be patient with yourselves. Elon Musk is making robots to be able to give people like caseworkers, et cetera, a break, hoping he donates those to government systems so that they can be able to know. One thing I do have to say is, in order for people to use these robots, there has to be someone mature and responsible to operate these robots. Otherwise, it can be a problem. I don't know how bad the problems can get. So I think testing out the robots is important. And so that, because I do understand that caseworkers get exhausted. You're human. And I'm human. And I was like, you know what? As much as I love being an employee, I love meeting people. I used to work in New York, where it was one of the busiest cities in the world, where it was always busy. I would work inside of the restaurants. I would work as a barista. I would be around so many people and enjoy it. But people get really tricky, and I got fired for the wrong reasons. There is such thing as people firing people for the wrong reasons. So a lot of people in the Spanish community, and this is not to offend you guys, a lot of them break the law in terms of taking advantage of funds. They try to bring their like teaching skills, but they don't know the importance of doing the right thing. I do understand when you're trying to look out for somebody that you probably are not trying to be harmful, but you have to be extremely careful. My first customer, what's her name? My first manager was Lucy. She was from Mexico. She's the best manager I've ever had, and she's always been honest with me and always taught me how to work the register very well. So she's the one Spanish lady that the Spanish community that I grew up with in Texas was the most trustworthy. But when you go in much bigger cities like New York City, California, those are more where you meet people that are more money hungry, conniving. You can't really trust them. Texas is a more family-based community where, you have to trust, because don't mess with Texas. The police is super tight and super serious when it comes to doing the right thing and not stealing funds and things like that. And they're trusting you with money. And when people trust you with the money, I think it's very important to do what you say you're supposed to do with that money. I was talking to what's his name? I was talking to Cameron Mitchell, and was it Cameron? It was either Cameron Mitchell or it was the other caseworker. I forget his name. And he said, they didn't have to give bus cards and gift cards. But if they give you funds to give gift cards, I think it's your job to understand that not everybody is going to know that these funds exist. It's the caseworker's job to let the client know that these funds exist. Just like when I first met Deja was very informative. Deja was very polite, and Deja also was the one that introduced me to the bus card and to the gift card. She said they're supposed to give you guys gift cards. The first time she said that, then the second time she was like, they're not. She was like, well, we don't have to give them to you. And I was like, okay, but that's not what you said the first time. This is why I record conversations, because it becomes your word against theirs. And if it comes to having, and I'm not saying this is what I'm going to do, but it becomes a legal matter because these are people's lives on the line, right? People's lives on the line. And when you don't do what you're supposed to do to support them, and the government is funding you to do this, and they're paying you every month or every week to do this, and you don't do your job, then it means that you're stealing from the company, you're lying to the company, you're lying about your position and what you're here to do, and you're misinforming people, and that's what's keeping people on the street. The job can be done faster, but people are not paying attention. And after talking to my caseworkers, and this is not to tell my caseworkers, oh, you're doing so bad, you guys can be trained, you just need a little bit more training. And a lot of times, if you don't show caseworkers that they're being watched, if you don't show people that that someone is listening, someone is paying attention to them, they're going to feel like, oh, well, nobody's looking, nobody's watching, let me do this, right? Let me do that. That's not how things should be. Whenever the government funds these programs, you got to give out the funds. You have to do what you say you're supposed to do. They say that you don't have to, but I say you have to, as long as they're bringing in money, as long as, all I need is to be able, once I get better, I'm going to go to the government and ask them everything that these companies are supposed to do. I'm going to go to Brilliant Corners and ask for all these things and let them know, hey, my caseworkers didn't inform me this. My caseworkers didn't tell me that. You know what I mean? I don't want you guys to make excuses for each other, because if there is someone that can replace you, if you're not doing your part, if there is someone that can replace you, then let that person replace you, because we want you to get the rest that you need. We want you to get the recovery. We don't want to overwork you, and I don't want you to feel like I'm forcing you to do a job that you are unable to do. And I don't want you to say, hey, we can do it. Hey, we're here for you. Hey, we this and that. And next thing you know, when it's time to book my appointments, when it's time to getting my in-home care provider, I haven't even gotten it yet. And I'm wondering, what are my caseworkers doing? What are you guys doing? I don't know where you are. You're working with other clients, but are you really working with other clients? Because you're just telling me that, but I don't see it. Right? And it's not like I'm supposed to see it, or if I see the work, then I'll know that you're doing something with other clients. But if you're not working on me and I'm doing most of the work, what exactly are you doing for the other clients? It doesn't make any sense, because I have a lot of needs here. And I'm doing, and if for Deja to say, Sandra's fine, I'm fine. But if somebody fails to do their part in booking my Vivitrol appointment, or something happens, my medication, and I can't reach my caseworkers, then it's almost defeats the purpose of the reason why you're even here in the first place, right? And this is just honest truth. This is nothing against you, and I want you guys to be rock hard, strong enough to be able to take constructive criticism. I want you guys, this is what education is all about. Education can sound cruel, but it's not cruel. It's honesty, and you have to be able to take that honesty, right? We're not friends until the job is done. Caseworkers and it cannot be like friends, because it's not like they're not friends. Sometimes your client might see you as a best friend. There's nothing wrong with that. Like sometimes I'm like, my best friends are my caseworkers, because my caseworkers are the ones that take care of me like a friend is supposed to take care of me. But if they don't do their job, they're not my best friends. They're my enemies. I don't see you guys. If I don't get housed in a specific amount of time, I'm going to wonder why if I went and did the apartment hunting, if I went and filled out the application, if I did all this by myself, what are you doing? Why are you getting paid? Why is it taking you long for you to, what is it? What is taking you long? Because you're busy working on someone else, but someone that is ready, you're neglecting. We don't want you guys to bring your personal issues, jealousy, envy in this. We want to get people's housed. And if you're bringing your personal issues, like what Brianna did, clients are allowed to bring their personal issues. We want you to bring your personal issues, but in therapy, not towards the client, towards your therapist. This is why it's important for every business to have therapy. This is why I'm trying to get these high-end buildings to do more donating, because they're making so much money off this country. But at the end of the day, how many people do they have to pay? You can't compete with the United States when it comes to making funds, because the United States funds millions and millions of people with disability money. They use those taxes to pay for trains. They probably have even more money that they're probably holding in case everyone else fails them. This country can't afford to fall. We cannot afford to not be able, for the trains not to be able to run. We cannot afford for anything, gas stations to break. We cannot afford that. If the United States has the funds, we want you to use these funds to provide the right services, to give more money to people with disabilities, because our caseworkers are really not doing everything that they say that they're doing. Because when I see caseworker, it means I need you to be available when it comes to looking for the apartment. And I do understand that sometimes it's hard to be available. Why don't you guys have iPhones? I want them to all have iPhones. So I want the government to provide these iPhones for caseworkers, because the iPhone system works a lot faster. You can airdrop videos, everything. I want the DPHA's office to have Apple computers. I want to know how much money that these programs are being funded. That money is not going to waste. That people are not off on vacation, blowing government funds, blowing taxes on partying, vacations, doing this, and not building enough programs for the military, not building enough programs for people that need it, right? I'm pretty sure people are not sleeping, but I know that people need a break and they need a rest, just like I do right now. So we'll talk more about this, guys, later. Thank you so much. I hope you understand and you don't take this personal, but I take it personal because I am the one who is on the line, and everybody that is claiming me as a client is getting paid because of me, because of us. If the clients are not here, you don't get a paycheck, because you won't have a job, because there won't be a program. We need you guys to understand that these programs were built so that we can we can get the help that we need, especially in the Black community. The Black community were the people that were abused the most, but they're not the only ones that get abused, and I'm very much aware of that. That's why we want to make sure that everybody gets the help they need, but we need to make sure that the people that are being discriminated against and abused because of the color of their skin are actually getting the sympathy that they need and deserve. Right? And in the Black community, I want you guys to know, in order for people to give you sympathy, you have to give yourself sympathy. You have to sympathize with people in your own community, and you have to always learn how to do your best to be on your best behavior while we build these programs. If you can do that for us, if you can do that for me, for yourself, it'll be great. Same with the Spanish community.